In this video, I want to show you the process of how I color matched my customer's 20-year-old table that she only wanted the top painted and distressed. Let's get to it. When my customer and her husband brought the table over to my house, we discussed how they wanted it to look, considering it is going to be a newly painted top and heavily distressed legs. They also have chairs that match, and so they didn't want to have those painted. They wanted the finish on the top to match the distressed finish on the legs. You can see why they would want the top repainted. It had some visible damage where it looked like someone had set something hot on top of it, and the side had a large crack in it, all of which is very fixable. To start the color match process, the first thing to do is clean the entire table. This ensures I'm working with a clean surface and the color I'm seeing is true. I repaired the crack in the top next. First, I couldn't tell if the finish was from a factory or if it was repainted. I know the store where she bought the table from sold anti-Salon chalk paint, so I thought a quick test would be to match some of these chalk paint whites against the table. I removed the legs from the table, bought a few samples of paint, and tested them on the table apron where the legs usually sit. This inconspicuous spot allowed me some flexibility in knowing that it would be covered up once the legs were reattached. When applying the samples, I made sure to work in an area that had ample natural lighting. This helps me to ensure the colors I'm comparing are as true as possible. After all this work, it turns out that none of these whites matched. Dang it! Now I'm on my own to mix a color and figure it out myself. I grabbed 5 fusion colors: picket fence, casement, raw silk, limestone, and buttermilk cream, then got busy mixing. My thought was to grab 3 colors that are similar to the original color and include limestone and buttermilk cream because the table had some yellow undertones. I'm not an artist and was never taught color theory, but I knew that if I at least tried, I would figure it out at a minimum, come very close. I mixed different ratios of the whites together in a large plastic container and then painted them out on a white piece of paper to see if I was getting close to matching the color. Every adjustment to the ratio would be applied to the inconspicuous spot on the apron, and each one was closer to matching than the last. To be completely honest, it took me a couple of days to get the right ratio of colors, but after a lot of trial and error, I had a match. In my large mixing container, I had about 3 cups of paint to spray on the table. I was hoping it would be enough because replicating that mixture again would be next to impossible. The next step of the process was to sand the tabletop with fine sandpaper. This creates some tooth for the paint to stick to. Since my customer wanted to maintain a distressed look, I used wax to act as a resist, something the paint wouldn't stick to in places where I wanted the raw wood to be exposed. After the wax was applied, I sprayed 3 coats of my custom paint mixture on the table. If you remember from earlier, I only had about 3 cups of this mixture, and whew! It was just enough to paint 3 coats on the tabletop and provide a small sample for my customer for touch-ups. After the paint dried, areas where the wax was applied started to crackle. I used a hairdryer to warm up the wax underneath. This makes it easier to distress with sandpaper. When the distressing was complete, I applied 3 coats of semi-gloss polyurethane to the tabletop. I wanted to show you, I just got finished spraying poly on here and it dried. It's fabulous and gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. You can see right here, it's still a little bit wet, but I am just over the moon excited about how it turned out. Hope my customers will be happy about it too. This was a hard one, but made it work, and I'm excited for them to see it.